Hello and welcome back to Umineko When They Cry, episode 10. Yeah, that's right. I actually know what episode it is this time. Um, yeah, last time we were introduced to a letter from Beatrice and the idea of the Demon's Roulette. I'm not entirely sure what that is as of now, but I'm sure we're about to find out. And if I recall, it is 10 o'clock. Time has passed, and I have a feeling that the family is in grave danger. Um, Two things before we actually get into the episode. One, I got my first ever comment a few days ago, and it was super nice. So if that person is watching right now, hi, thank you so much, and I hope you're enjoying. And two, I realized that I have flanderized Ava's voice. I was rewatching part of the first episode of this, and it's so toned down compared to what it became. Uh and I hope that's not annoying, but I just really like to get dramatic with it, I think. Alright, that's enough. Let's get into this. I don't know how long this episode's gonna be. I'm thinking maybe around usual length. About an hour, but we'll see. Could get really interesting. Who knows? The strange letter that the witch had entrusted to Maria wiped all memories of dinner from our minds. Maria was repeatedly barraged with questions by Aunt Rosa and the other parents, and became increasingly ill-tempered when they refused to believe her. If we kids tried to butt in, they'd probably ignore us. Our parents were all stirred up, firing back and forth about the gold and the distribution of the assets, and completely forgetting that we were even there. I'd already guessed they'd been talking like this in the shadows, but I hadn't thought they'd be so blunt. Gave all of us kids a considerable shock. From what we could overhear, all the parents wanted more money as soon as possible. Back and forth about grandfather's inheritance, back and forth about the distribution of the gold if it was found, about advance payments and cash. It was so despicable I could hardly bear to watch, even though one of them was my father. It looked like Jessica felt the same way. We left our seats without being asked to and went to hang out somewhere well away from our parents. I get it. Now I totally see why grandfather hates coming down for meals. I'm so disillusioned with our parents right now. All that about money and the inheritance. How can they act like that right out in the open? No. Gosh, rich people, am I right? Am I right? Well, I'm already completely disillusioned with my old bastard. There's no way I could think any worse of him. That's exactly the same for me. Still, that freaking shocked me. Shocked me to the core. Jessica looked down at the floor, irritated. She was always talking about how bad her parents were, but maybe she hadn't really felt that way deep inside. The depths of Jessica's shock made that clear. You're all minors being supported by your parents, so you might not understand. But getting money is neither a simple nor a pretty thing. Battler and Jessica are 18. They're not minors. But are you still a minor if you still live with your parents? Maybe that's the logic here. I don't know. I don't live in Japan. I won't try to force you to understand right now since you're still kids. George, you're like 5 years older than them. Oh my gosh. But even so, I want you to realize that your parents are just doing their best in their own way. Yeah, that's why Rudolph is getting lawsuits over the sea and Kraus is committing fraud. Yeah, that's for the best. Hideyoshi is like the only one that isn't actually actively doing something bad, I think. Oh, great. George and Nikki's gotten all mature. George Nissan, I know you're working hard as a full-fledged member of society, but does that mean you turn into a shameless, greedy vulture like our parents whenever you start talking about money and assets? If it were only for my own benefit, then no, I wouldn't want to do that. However, when your family and your employees, your subordinates and their families are all counting on you, there are some times when you must fight. I hate that kind of fight. That back and forth about grandfather's inheritance just makes me want to puke. Jessica pretended to spit violently. That harsh reaction made the depths of her pain very clear. Let's stop talking about this. All this about grandfather's hidden gold, property, and inheritance is our problem. Our parents' problem, not ours. I agree. At the very least, I think children have a duty to be considerate and stay out of their parents' way when they're talking together. Sounds pretty boring. Everyone knows the phrase, adults are filthy. But we had now seen that for ourselves, and that really did give us a considerable shock. George Umineko was now pretty much an adult, and I had already been disillusioned with my dad, so the shock wasn't that big for us. But Jessica seemed to be taking it hard. Apparently, she'd received a bigger blow than I thought. She always talks badly about her parents, but it looks like she hadn't changed at all on the inside. Even now, she's still a pure-hearted, delicate person who can't doubt others. I'm sure she respected her parents as much as anyone else does. And then her parents started raging about going, money, money, inheritance, inheritance, my money. Right in front of all the other parents and the children. It's no surprise she received such a shock from hearing that. Jessica-chan, please don't start hating your mother and father. I won't ask you to understand them, but at least don't hate them. It's okay, Jessica. I'll hate your father for you. Natsuki, she's fine. She's got her own things going on, so it's okay. I get it. Just leave me alone for a bit. 6 years ago, I would have kept taunting Jessica even after she got all dejected. But I guess I really have grown over the last 6 years. I realized it'd be better to leave Jessica alone right now. Jessica suddenly looked away sulkily and left the parlor. She probably wanted to be alone for a while. I could do nothing but wordlessly watch her back as she left. Come to think of it, I wonder where Maria-chan went. She's probably pouting in front of the portrait. Maria truly looked up to witches, and she'd expected that coming in direct contact with Beatrice and receiving that letter as proof would surprise everyone and make them happy. However, the adults had doubted its authenticity, thoroughly bombarding Maria with questions and refusing to accept her story. Even for me, it wasn't hard to imagine how much that must have hurt Maria. We couldn't speak to Maria or Jessica. In the end, George and Nikki and I just abandoned ourselves to the sound of the falling rain in the dark night. Oh yeah, it's just been rain noises, not even like faint music. Unless my volume's down too much. Oh no, my volume's up. I just had to turn down the volume of the game because, oh my god, it's loud. I've heard that it's a common thing that the music is way too loud. I hear the ticking of clock. I wonder what's happening with that typhoon. Maybe there's something about it on the news. George and Iki started walking over to the corner of the parlor where the television was. He hadn't called me over, and I really couldn't have cared less where the typhoon was on the sea now. So without going over to the television, I loitered around the window. The wind hasn't picked up that much here, but I wonder if it's horrible over the sea. I did hear about a severe storm warning on the weather report. Ha, Kiryu-san. I take it those big talks between the adults are going smoothly. Yeah? She seemed to catch the sarcasm. Kiryu-san shrugged. I wonder if that stomachache of a discussion will continue all night. It's not going to be fun. Well then, please enjoy playing vultures to grandfather's property as much as you'd like. I feel sick. I'll agree with you on that. If I could just slip away like you, I'd do it. Unfortunately, I can't. Even if I'm not allowed to speak, We spouses have it pretty rough, too. Kiri-san took a deep breath, smiling bitterly. That's right. They probably wouldn't let Kiri-san speak since she only married into the family. Still, as Dad's partner, she had no choice but to stay by his side and support him. She's probably had to bear the full brunt of this mental pressure more than me. I wasn't going to apologize, but realizing that I'd spoken too harshly, I cut the sarcasm for the time being. So, how does it look? Are they still stuck on the topic of the mysterious witch Beatrice? More or less. Those four siblings are always piling up secret agreements when they come together to discuss the division of grandfather's inheritance. Sorry if my reading's a little off today. I got a little sick, and I haven't recovered completely. But, it's not as bad as a few months ago, if we, remember that. They're saying that some unknown fifth person has appeared and is trying to make things even more complicated, and there's no way that'll make for a peaceful conversation. Just when you think they're snarling at each other, they'll set up a common front. Natsuhide-san's not the only one getting headaches. On the one hand, they all want a larger portion than the other siblings, so they're all rivals. But on the other hand, they don't want one yen to be snatched up by anyone other than the siblings, so they're also all allies. I hadn't been told the details, but the siblings were apparently discussing how to protect their shares under various situations, setting up ceasefire agreements and rules to prevent anyone from getting an unfair advantage, even preparing to resort to legal action if absolutely necessary. Sounds painful. That they would go this far to preserve their shares was so beyond disgusting that you just had to acknowledge their resilience. So, basically, Beatrice is like an assassin sent by grandfather. Probably wanted to scare the hell out of his children for talking about the inheritance without him. I don't like that. Thanks? The sudden wind sound? Who is this Beatrice, I wonder? If everything she claims is true, then she's a mystery figure that no one knew about until today. And she also knows about grandfather's hidden gold. On top of that, she was even entrusted with the head's ring. She must truly have been trusted by him. Well, obviously I don't think she's a witch riding around on a broom. But there is no doubt she's a mysterious person who's earned the right to be called a witch. If only Maria-chan would go into more detail about that. Everyone's been smothering her, even though she's just a little girl. They really scared her, and some things they might have asked now can't be asked. I wonder if those people have ever even read The North Wind and the Sun. I certainly haven't. I don't know what that is. What we do know is that Maria received a letter from a person who took the name Beatrice. She sure is shy for a mystery person, entrusting Maria with the letter and hiding away even now, when she could have just appeared and talked to us directly. Hey, Battler-kun. You didn't need to post that. Hey, you didn't need to post that. Do you really think a person called Beatrice actually exists? Well, we know what Battler's gonna say. He's gonna say, hell no! Magic isn't real. Who knows? Doesn't it really seem like a false name? Like she's grandfather's representative, so she was given permission to take the name the witch from his delusions? No, that's not what I meant. Right now, there's a total of 18 people here on Rokenjima. Do you think there's a 19th person? Oh my god, this is giving me bad flashbacks to Danganronpa, the first game, with Mukuro Ikusaba, the 16th student. It's like... Stop. Don't pull this with me again. I couldn't take it when I played that game years ago. I can't take it again now. With the, ooh, there's a secret person on the island. There's a hidden person on the islands. I like this music though. I'm glad we have some music finally. Are there really a full 18 people on this island right now? Wondering about that. I began counting on my fingers. Battler, how old are you? How many people are on this island? 18. Well, I'm 18. And it really did come out to that many. God, Battler. Do I think that the 19th person exists? What exactly do you... Okay, wait. Okay, so last episode, I talked about... Are there really only, like, the 5 servants that we've seen? I guess there really are only the 5 servants that we've seen. There are 5 servants for this entire thing? Crazy. Just what I said. The person who lent Maria that umbrella supposedly wasn't one of us 18. So isn't it natural to assume that a 19th person exists, and that this person lent Maria the umbrella? Well, yeah, it sure looks that way. And where exactly is this person now? At the very least, she must have been on the island when it started raining. And ever since that time, the weather has grown progressively worse, so taking a boat out would be pretty much impossible. In that case, that person must still be on the island, hiding from the rain somewhere. And without any of us spotting her. True, we've all been randomly prowling around all over the mansion and the guest house, but no one has bumped into a 19th person. But this island is huge. There might be other places to take shelter from the rain other than the mansion and the guest house. But about this time, I began to realize what direction Kiri-san's suspicions were taking us in. Kiri-san was denying that a 19th person existed. I don't know where I got 7 from. Beatrice was one of us 18. Oh. In other words, she thought someone we knew well was tricking us. If Beatrice is who she claimed, she would surely be the most honored of guests, the most honored of confidants, trusted by Grandfather. There's no way Grandfather wouldn't give that kind of person a warm reception. She would surely have been ushered into the mansion. However, we haven't seen anyone like that. Wait a sec, isn't this line of reasoning a bit too hasty? Sure, no one spotted this person, but that doesn't mean you can deny the possibility that the 19th person exists. Right? Maybe for some reason they landed on the island stealthily and have been hiding ever since. Okay. What? What? Landed on the island? Yeah, we got some paratroopers just, camping out above the island in a helicopter. Just, getting ready. Go, get on the island now, none of the family's paying attention. It's what they call a devil's proof. It's easy to prove that something exists. This Beatrice appears in front of us and us all and says hi, then it's settled. But it's impossible to prove that there's no 19th person. Yes, Battler-kun, your way of reasoning isn't bad. In our current situation, there isn't enough information to either accept or deny that a 19th person exists. But if you spin the chessboard around and think that way, we can deny the existence of a 19th person with near certainty. Chess? Okay, I can play chess. Like, I know how all the pieces move. I just suck. Like, I don't get how people can think 80 steps ahead and come up with, like, every single plan ever. Like, I know the knights move in an L shape. Rooks move straight, either forward or to the side. Bishops move diagonally. Pawns can move forward 2 on their first thing, and then 1 after that, and then attack diagonally. Kings suck, and queens can basically do whatever they want. And that's like all the yeah. But people who are like super good at chess, insane. Insane. To me, personally. Spin the chessboard around was one of Kiri-san's favorite phrases. I've been influenced by those words and use them myself from time to time. When you get stuck trying to find a move in chess or shogi, and by spinning the board around and looking at everything from your opponent's standpoint, you can often see a strategy that'll give you the upper hand. It means turning things around and putting yourself in your opponent's shoes. You see, let's say that the 19th person called Beatrice actually exists. That person must have managed, without being seen by anyone, to stealthily arrive on this island and remain hidden ever since. Maybe they had some reason, okay? In that case, why did they go to all the trouble of appearing before Maria and handing her the letter? It really was a contradiction. They had some reason for hiding themselves, and they should have stayed hidden the whole time. Even so, they had appeared openly in front of Maria. Then... Wait, Maria said it herself. She said the witch made her a messenger. I'm trying... Okay, what's with putting the thingies around the messenger? Like, I mean, I know it's to show the significance, but there's also some other, like, reason. I don't know. Maybe that's because Maria was the youngest and looked the most obedient. Why would they need a messenger? They just wanted a letter delivered to the family conference. They could have mailed it. They mailed it to each of the 4 siblings. No one would be able to ignore it. Well, because it could have been, like, because it has Kenzo's seal on it. Kenzo's seal is on the thingy. There was no need for this person to carry it themselves and secretly deliver it by hand. Yeah. That does sound pretty weird. In the first place, if Beatrice existed and wanted to make her presence known to everyone, then she could have just openly presented herself to all of us. But she didn't. Despite that, she chose the vague method of appearing through a little girl called Maria-chan, and only gave us a vague impression of who she was. Contradiction. Let's go a little deeper, shall we? She appeared in front of Maria, trying to give us the impression that a 19th person existed. And yet, she still hasn't appeared before us and is hiding somewhere at this very moment. Think about those contradictions. You've got to keep these things in mind when you spin the chessboard around. In short, the person wants to leave us with the impression that Beatrice exists as the 19th person. What might their goal be? If this person wanted to hide, then they wouldn't have made their presence known. And if they wanted to show themselves, then they wouldn't have used a roundabout approach of entrusting someone with a letter. Which means... it's simple. Beatrice is one of the 18 people. That's why they want to create the illusion that there are more than 18 people. The 19th person was revealed so spectacularly. If someone were to profit from this, it wouldn't be some 19th person in hiding. It'd be one of the original 18 people. Of course, this reasoning is full of holes. If you turn over even a few of its premises, it'll simply fall apart. But I'm almost completely certain it's correct. This is starting to feel pretty creepy. Someone lent Maria the umbrella and handed her the letter. Supposedly, none of the 18 did this. And yet Beatrice was hidden among those 18. What was this person planning, hiding their true form and pretending to be Beatrice? I suspected it might have been Maria-chan play-acting, but the contents of the message were extremely complicated, and it's hard to imagine Maria-chan writing that herself. However, I can't deny the possibility that Maria-chan is working together with someone. Wait a sec, Maria's a 9-year-old kid, right? What could she possibly be planning with, and who? And with whom? And what about her straightforward, overly honest, obedient nature? Yes, I also understand what kind of person Maria Chan is, but that's exactly why I think it's possible. That girl's a dreamer who can't help but look up to and blindly accept the existence of witches. So if a person appeared in front of her and claimed to be the witch, Beatrice, Maria Chan would happily swallow it up, I think. So you're saying there's someone disguised themselves by wearing the fancy dress from the portrait? Tricking Maria wouldn't be that hard? Of course, with that reasoning, all of us women would become the primary suspects. Anyway, who did Maria Chan encounter? Learning the details of that question would be the best key to solving this riddle. But this key has been firmly locked away inside Maria Chan's heart. Everyone denied the existence of the witch without listening to her, barraging her too much with questions about who Beatrice actually was. She probably won't open her heart to the adults now. Crazy. I mean, I don't know what to believe, if I'm being honest. I mean, Kiri's solid in thinking that it could just be someone on the islands, but there's merit to there being a 19th person, so I really don't know what theory that I should subscribe to at this current point in time. And I mean, I'm sure we're going to find out regardless, so there's no point in me dwelling on it too much. In the dim hall in front of the portrait of Beatrice, Maria was sobbing. No one believes I met Beatrice. Even though I showed them the letter Beatrice gave, they still don't believe. Poor girl. Yeah, they're just... these adults, man. Anyway, Maria Chan's holding the key. The key to whether Beatrice is one of the 18 people or 19th person. Maria's stubborn, right? When that girl gets angry, it's pretty hard to make her feel better. Batlacon, I think a kid like you would be better at cheering her up than an adult like me. After she's feeling better, try asking. I know you don't care about all this back and forth about the inheritance, but don't you find this Western Mansion mystery situation exciting? It's like an Agatha Christie novel. Let's get the strychnine now. Come on, let's poison someone. Who in the world is this person who gave Maria Chan the letter? It makes your intellectual curiosity ache. Hold on. Okay, a lot of people are just getting gouged. I say on the first Twilight someone can be or the 6th could be poisoned, or the 9th Twilight, the rest of the living people could be poisoned. Yeah. Crazy stuff. Oh wait, let me go back to characters. Yeah. Oh yeah, I updated my tier list, and I did kick Rosa down a few pegs, cause lady, that is not how you deal with your child. You're actually pretty tough, considering you're still excited after being dragged through that endless money talk. Adults can be pretty amazing. Adult propaganda. I shrugged exasperatedly. But I did notice something. Kiri noticed how dejected I was after overhearing our parents' turbulent discussion, and was probably trying to clear the air. At the very least, I'd recovered enough to voice my complaints. She was my real mother, so I never felt like calling her mom, but it did make me think she's a real adult. Hey, brat, so this is where you were. Oh, okay, kick it back in with the music. I like this. I like this. Hey, brat, so this is where you were. I think I already said that. Kiri, you really took your time fixing your makeup, didn't you? I think I'll make a habit of going out to touch up my makeup, too. You seem like the kind of guy that would. Not saying that in like a, man, men can't wear makeup way, just, he seemed like the type of guy who'd put on a little extra foundation. I'm sorry. A woman's makeup takes a long time. So, how has the discussion been without me? I'm sure everything was all peaceful and harmonious. Kiri-san poked a weak spot under my arm with her elbow. We decided to take a break to cool our heads a little. Looks like we'll be at it all night. Makes me want to cry. His way of talking hadn't changed, but he couldn't completely hide his fatigue. I couldn't say I was sympathetic, but he looked pitiful compared to his normal, energetic self. Still, that rain's just awful. I really don't want to go back to the guest house. Looks like Natsuki and Isan set things up so we could spend the night here in the mansion. What do we do? We don't need to decide until you're done, right? If you run so low in energy that you can't return to our room, we could take them up on their offer. You're right. We can think about it later. What about you, Battler? If I stayed, I'd just get in the way. It'll be nice and go back over there. I see. Will you go back so soon? Will you go back soon? I don't know. I'd be lonely to head back by myself. I'll gather all the kids and we'll head out. Okay. You go do that. Also, Battler, you won't be going to sleep that easily tonight. Right? What the fuck does that mean? What? What? What does that mean? Hold on, what? Rudolph, what? Yeah, I'll probably be up talking with the cousins. Sounds like we'll be up all night. Is there a problem with that? I see. If you're still awake when the adults' discussion is over, I want to have a little talk as a family. Oh? Rudolph, Redemption? Oh, what? Doesn't sound like you. Apparently, Kiri-san was thinking the same thing. What are you talking about? She asked him in a small voice. It looked like Kiri-san didn't have a clue what Dad meant either. I also want to talk to you about it, Kiri. I'll tell you later, so don't ask now. Please. Huh? I don't know anyone who neglects the concept of family as much as this old bastard. And now he's saying we're gonna have a talk as a family. Both Kiri-san and I couldn't help but get wide-eyed. Don't look so terrified. I'm the one who should be terrified. After all, at that point, he swallowed his words for an instant. You know, putting on airs of importance wasn't much like my dad. You're freaking me out, Dad. Everyone in our family's gathered here now, right? Don't make a big deal out of it and spit it out. No. Oh, okay. I thought we were about to go to someone else. I was like, hold on, wait. I want to know. I want to know what we're discussing, guys. Don't leave me out. Don't leave me out. Let's see. Tonight, I will probably be whoa! Pause. Huh? What? No, hold on. What do you mean? There was a huge crash of thunder. It must have been really close. Dad's expression, brightly illuminated by the lightning, was burned into my eyes. Dad's face, which always looked so sure of itself and which always wore a taunting expression, was strangely frail in a way I couldn't really explain. He was so worn out that he looked like a different person. What? What are you talking about? That doesn't sound like you. I agree. What happened? You look so timid all of a sudden. It's not like you. I'm gonna go fix my makeup too. Don't follow me. What? Dad turned away weakly. After that, only Kiri and I were left, still wide-eyed. What did he say? No, tonight he'll be killed? You don't think that mysterious letter scared him, do you? He's been watching too many serial murder movies. Kiri-san didn't answer my light-hearted words, and continued to stare at my dad's disappearing back. Battler-kun, when you told Rudolph-san to spill the beans right away, he left without telling us anything. Even though he said he had something to say to both of us, he didn't answer you. Why? Spin the chessboard around. What do you see? Well, when he said he wanted to talk, but then couldn't, that's a contradiction. What, can you see something by looking from Dad's perspective? Yes, I can see something. He wants to talk about something. He said he wanted to talk about something. However, he doesn't have the courage to bring it up. So he actually means chase after me, talk to me, and ask me about it yourself. By saying, don't follow me, he actually means the opposite. He actually means follow me and force me to answer. Seriously, what a spoiled brat. What? Can you really call that reasoning? That's ridiculous. Can great private and police detectives deduce the emotions and feelings between men and women? They can't, right? Figuring out the feelings of the opposite sex is an even more advanced art than exposing the tricks in difficult crime cases. If you ask me, romance novels have much deeper mysteries than masterpiece mystery novels. I see. Is that how it is? I'll stand alongside that spoiled brat. He normally loves to bluff, but tonight he's completely tired out from that heated discussion. He probably wants someone to lean on at the moment. And responding to that need is the role of his partner. Sounds passionate. I'll leave that old bastard in your hands. Yes, leave it to me. I called out to Kiri-san's departing back. Huh? What? I wanted to say thanks. Thanks to you, my gloomy mood has cleared up a lot. That's good. Communication is important. After answering with a wink, Kiri-san followed after Dad. Ooh, okay. Natsuki could be found in the dimly lit hallway. Now and then the thunder would crash, but this had no effect on her expression. She looked completely worn out. The discussion that had just taken place between the relatives in the dining hall was repeating itself inside Natsuki's mind. Beatrice had proclaimed that in addition to the gold, all of the inheritance and property of the Ushirimiya family would be given to the person who could solve the riddle. In other words, she planned to undermine the absolute guarantee that Kraus, as the oldest brother, had to succeed the family head. Originally, the other siblings had absolutely no chance to inherit the headship. To them, this proposal by Beatrice was extremely desirable. It was obvious that they would accept it. There was no need to play some clumsy detective game. Natsuki knew that the so-called 19th person, Beatrice, couldn't exist. Naturally, Beatrice was nothing more than a fictional character used to pass a message that Kinzo had written himself. As proof, Kinzo had remained stubbornly neutral as to that letter's authenticity. He was completely ignoring these reckless claims that he shouldn't be able to ignore, that he had given up the head's ring. In short, Kenzo had wordlessly admitted that the letter held his own message. Most likely, one of the servants had given Maria the letter. Kenzo had probably worked out an elaborate plan where the dress from the portrait would be prepared, and someone, probably Shannon, would be made to wear it and deliver the letter and the umbrella. By doing that, he could make it seem like the witch from the portrait actually existed. No, if anything, that alone was proof that Kenzo was behind all of this. In that case, it was the same as Kenzo trying to butt in on the siblings' private discussion. Then, Kenzo, by announcing that he'd given everything to the person who solved the riddle, could weaken Krause's overwhelming advantage. Now it was certain. Kenzo had eavesdropped on the siblings' discussion in the parlor earlier that day. So he had known how Krause had staved off the attack by the other three. No, it's just he's got servants that'll tell him whatever he wants to hear. Well, not whatever he wants to hear. But, like, servants that'll report in. And, to make the scales of the battle go back into balance, he had sent out this strange letter, which benefited Krause's rivals. That's not right, because he hates the other kids as much as he hates Krause, so, you know, it's not actually that, Nazi. Sorry. He was trying to push this crazy theory so that Rosa, who had a weak position among the siblings because of her age, would join with Ava and Rudolph. Then, with a 3-to-1 advantage, they'd be able to overwhelm Krause again and make the ridiculous theories get accepted by force. And by doing that, he gave them the power to resettle what had once been a nearly decided conflict. They had now started repeatedly pressing Krause to pay them a large amount of money, using the condition that all the siblings would guarantee Krause's position as the successor. Talk about advance payments was being brought up again, despite having been rejected once. Of course, even without the story about the hidden gold, the Ushirmiya family store of wealth was vast. That store of wealth alone was more than enough. Even if the hidden gold was buried forever along with Kinzo's death, there would be more than enough to satisfy. Therefore, even if they weren't that interested in the gold itself, Kinzo had managed to instill the lifelong fear that, on the off chance that someone found the gold, that person would be granted the headship. And this kind of Achilles heel would definitely be taken advantage of by someone sooner or later. The only person with this fatal weakness was the successor, Krause. The other siblings had they had been told by Kinzo about something that only Krause could lose. They had thoroughly taken advantage of that. Well, okay, this is Nazi's logic, yes, but Krause, I don't think he ever had the position in the first place. I think this was always Kinzo's plan. There was never a guarantee that the head would be passed on to Krause. Natsuhi, as Krause's only ally in his painful position, and as his wife, wanted to fight alongside him. She kept trying to explain to him that the existence of the gold itself was a farce, and that there was no need for him to compromise. Krause had always told Natsuhi. He had told all of the siblings He always said that the hidden gold was nothing more than an illusion created by Kinzo. But what happens when it's not? Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Therefore, Natsu had believed it as his wife and had supported her husband on that foundation. Even so, Natsu's words didn't reach Kraus. Even though Natsu had fought so hard and had lent all of her strength, he continued to fight by himself and was trying to compromise with the other 3 siblings. Natsu sadly and weakly wondered why she could not be of use to him. Then started getting angry. It had happened when everyone decided to take a short break to cool their heads. Natsu had flared up against Kraus. Enraged, she had asked why she could not be useful to him. He had then told her that he wanted to talk about something, and invited her into a room that she was normally not allowed to enter. That room had been sealed with a heavy-looking padlock, and just looking at it gave her an uncomfortable feeling. Uh-oh. This isn't gonna be very good, is it? I say, stating the obvious. Okay. Let's see. I'm a little nervous. There's no need for you two to worry about anything said by those 3, or even the suspicious person who calls herself Beatrice. After all, the gold is just a ruse created by Father. There's no way something like that could be found, you say. Your position as a successor is a solid fact. Is it? Is it a solid fact, or you just really want it to be a solid fact? So you really want that security. I mean, guess we're gonna find out soon. What are you afraid of? Kraus removed the padlock on the door. He then motioned for Natsu to enter. Enter. Well, that's telling her to enter. That's not motioning. Unless he motioned as well, then that would count. But still, all it said was that he motioned. Okay, I should just... What is this? There's something I want you to see. Uh-oh. That's never good. I've never shown you this before, clearly, if she's never been in this room, but you know. Natsu timidly opened the door with a dubious expression on her face. I don't like how loud this clock is. It's giving me bad vibes. Bad feelings. I don't like this. I really don't like this, actually. Hey, did you guys know I don't like this? Okay, I'm glad we're on the same page about. It was pitch black. She searched for a switch to turn on the lights, but since this was her first time in the room, she didn't know where it was. Kraus entered behind her, pushing her in, and when he closed the door before turning on the lights, the two were swallowed up by the darkness. Only by the sound of Kraus locking the door rang out through the dark. What are you doing? The lights. I am turning them on now. Wait. Just as he said, and when Kraus pushed the switch on the wall, a flickering light turned on and lit up the room. That is... Natsu had her breath taken away. The room had no windows, and at a glance it appeared to be empty. In the middle of the room, a small round table had been set, and the lights brightened only that table, as if it were the leading part in a play. On top of the table, a red tablecloth of elaborate design had been set out, covered with dust. And on top of that something, about the size of a grown man's arm, had been set down. Oh? Size of a grown man's arm. I'm trying to think of things that are the size of a grown man's arm. A lot of things, really. Something that has to be hidden away, though. It's a big, big bar of gold. That something took Natsu's breath away. Oh my god! No! I was joking! I was joking! Oh my, I was joking! I didn't actually think they were gonna put a bar of gold here. What? Does this point towards my genius, or is this just a really, really awkward coincidence? I was just thinking, I mean, I was gonna say a really big stick next. But no, it's a big, big bar of gold. Without this, no one would have believed in the legend of the gold. It was an ingot of solid gold. Even in the faint light, it sparkled with a noble and dignified glint. This is not a proper ingot. I don't even know whether it was cast inside or outside the country. It took a high-level skill to make that the purest of solid gold ingots. In order to verify that purity, it was standard to have the original foundry and the name of the bank that guaranteed it imprinted on the gold. However, this ingot did not have that kind of seal. This mysterious gold bar had come from an unknown foundry. Look here. There's nothing to be afraid of. It's just a bar of gold. Natsuhi, following Krause's words, timidly approached the ingot. Right there. Krause pointed at the surface of the ingot. Natsuhi concentrated on that section. Right there was the thin imprint of the one-winged eagle crest. One-winged wingle. Natsuhi's breath was taken away once again. Girl, get it back! Don't let them take this from you. Fight back, Natsuhi. That's right. This is the legendary ingot that Father said he'd received from the witch, that the president of the Marisu witnessed and was allowed to select at random to take back with him. That gained the trust of the fixers in the business world. I had to use all possible means to find it. I found it before the other siblings could. How could? Then, the legend of Father's gold is... It actually exists. The gold that Ushiramiya Kenza received from Beatrice actually exists. Impossible. So it really does exist. Yes, he just said that. Natsuhi was shocked. Krause had always said that Kenzo's gold was just a fabrication. So she had believed it, as his wife. However, the reality was different. Since he held definite proof, he had been more certain than any of the other siblings that the legend of the gold was true. Because of this, Krause was deeply frightened at the possibility that someone other than himself would find the gold he'd failed to find, costing him everything. But to Natsuhi, this truth was more than enough to split open her heart. She had thought that, as Krause's wife, she should be his closest confidant, which was why she had selflessly supported him. And yet, he had hid this fact from her until today. And yet, he had hid the... Oh wait, sorry. Why? Have I been so undeserving of your trust? That has never been my intention. There was simply no need to tell you. Is that all a wife means to you? Calm down. Becoming passionate easily is one of your bad habits. Damn. Can't a girl express herself? You're the one who's making me like that, aren't you? I've been supporting you as a wife ever since I married into this family. For your sake, I threw away the family I was born into, and I've been offering up my heart and my body to serve you. And in return, this is what I get? How could you? Kraus grimaced, looking annoyed. His expression effectively communicated how much he disliked this part of Natsuhi, even if he didn't say it out loud. It doesn't look like I will be of any use to you anymore. That's fine. Bro. Yeah, there's a reason why. You know what? You and Goda can both go down to hell tier. I wish I could make another tier on my tier list. It's just hell. You and Goda both go down there. I know Goda's catching strays, but, you know, he deserves to catch every stray. He hasn't shown up at all this episode. But, you know. I can resolve the troubles with the siblings by myself. I don't need your help. That's wrong! This is the Ushiramiya family's problem. It's true that I am not permitted to wear the family crest on my body, but I am still your wife. Even so, are you saying I'm not capable of helping you? Are you? I especially wouldn't want to risk getting you involved. It would probably make your headaches even worse than they are now. Take a rest for today. The siblings will deal with the siblings' problems. It has nothing to do with you. That is all. Oh dear. That's crazy. A dull headache tormented Natsuhi. No matter what medicine she took, no matter what scent she burned, it wouldn't heal. It's probably Kraus. In fact, simply wandering alone through the dark corridors and listening to the sound of the rain seemed to be a better cure. Yeah, your headache is actually the cause of a tumor, and that tumor's name is Kraus. I may be Natsuhi, but I was never Ushiramiya Natsuhi. I've been despised and treated as a borrowed wound, and insulted when I couldn't even fill that role. Even so, I have tried to properly perform my duties as a wife, but now, my husband has rejected me. I've done my best raising my daughter, as if it were the last job left to me. However, I've had no release for my anger and sadness, and it caused me to subconsciously strain that relationship too. Because I've been excessively strict in Jessica's education, she dislikes me thoroughly. She despises me for having no interest in anything but grades. Well, you could be a little more interested in her life. You could, you know, be like, oh, hey, Jess, how was your day? Oh, wow, my lovely, awesome daughter, my only single daughter. There is no longer anything I can do for the Ushiramiya family. No, that's no good. Despite it all, I must help my husband and beat back the schemes of the other greedy siblings. The family head won't be around much longer. Eventually, Kraus will succeed the head, and the next successor will be Jessica. Strictly speaking, the man who enters the family by marrying Jessica will become the next head, but it all comes to the same thing. I have to make Jessica an excellent successor whom everyone will accept as worthy to take over the Ushiramiya family. In the days to come, that greedy Ushiramiya Eva will probably be plotting to find some fault with the main family. And if all goes as she plans, Jessica will be dragged down from the succession, with George set up in her place. It is regrettable, but George is a man, and even more, he has matured as a person. Compared to Jessica, who is right in the middle of a rebellious period, and whose grades are slightly below average, it can be seen at a glance who is more fit to succeed the head. So in order to secure Jessica's position, I need to turn her into an excellent person. After doing that, I want to find her an excellent husband worthy of the excellent person she will have become. A wonderful man who will truly accept Jessica and stay with her through all of life's joys and sorrows. Was Natsuhi trying to entrust her daughter with fulfilling some desire of her own? Natsuhi thought back to the days when she'd had no choice but to marry into the Ushiramiya family, because of that unavoidable fate. She had tried to block that from her memory. She had consciously forgotten it, and had actively attended to the life she'd been given as Ushiramiya Natsuhi. And in so doing, she had built up a new life. But just now, it felt like all of that had been casually rejected. How should I think as I live my life? I do not know. Natsuhi helplessly rested her head against the glass of the window. The glass, which was cool thanks to the raindrops beating against it, felt somehow refreshing, even though it should have been emotionless. Right then it seemed to be the only thing that could understand Natsuhi. At that point, even if someone had appeared, Natsuhi didn't intend to pay attention to them. But she did pay attention. Because it was her beloved daughter. Jessica. Oh, it's you, Mom. What the heck are you doing in a place like this? Thought you were a ghost. Just like always, her words were rough and not at all like a girl's. Instinctively, words of rebuke rose to Natsuhi's throat. However, their strength gave out, and they didn't escape her lips. Jessica, forgive me, but my headache is awful. Please leave me be. I see. Jessica was seeing her mother in a position of feebleness for the first time, so she was considerably disconcerted. Until just now, she'd been filled with contempt for all of the parents, including her mother. But now those feelings had been completely swept away. Her mother's utterly exhausted face had wiped them all out. In its place, the words George had told her floated back up in her mind. Our parents are doing their best in their own way. Because their families are counting on them, they can't afford to keep everything pleasant, and have a heavy responsibility to fight. Maybe her mother had been standing around in this dimly lit hallway because no one had tried to understand that part of her. Jessica hated her mother, so she had no intention of speaking kindly to Natsuhi just because she was looking a bit frail. So when she attempted to speak kindly to her mother anyway, she had to clench her fists and gather up the words from deep in her heart. Sounds like you've really got your hands full with that meeting thing. It has nothing to do with you. Please go somewhere else. Is your headache bad? Should I go get some medicine? You don't have to trouble yourself. Please, leave me alone. Natsuhi wasn't being holed. She just wanted her daughter to go far away so that she wouldn't have to bump against Natsuhi's own short temper. But there was no chance that Jessica would realize this. Okay. Jessica hung her head, looking sad. Seeing that expression, Natsuhi recognized the kindness that Jessica was trying to muster. She gave her head a small shake to drive away her own unkind feelings. Then I'll leave. I'll be with the other cousins so I don't get in the way of the adults. See you later. Wait there. She called Jessica, who was trying to leave, and looked lonely, to a stop. What? Thank you for being so considerate. It isn't good of me to try to go to sleep and leave you alone. Don't talk like that. You'll bring bad luck. I made you worried, but I'm okay now. I will go. If I let my daughter see me this feeble any longer, I'll only make her feel more uneasy. With that thought in mind, Natsuhi left Jessica with words of gratitude and made to depart. This time, Jessica called out to her mother's back. Natsuhi stopped and turned around, asking what business Jessica had with her. Guys, quit! We gotta pick one. Are we gonna... What are we doing? What are we doing? But Jessica herself didn't know why she'd stopped her mother. And for a while, she smiled wryly, muttering to herself as she hesitated over what to say. She was poking around in her pocket when her hand touched something and she took it out. Hey, Mom. I was, given a charm today. What was it? A charm against magic? I'm pretty sure that you were supposed to hang it from your doorknob, I think. I forget. There's no point in me having it, so I'll let you take it. It was a scorpion charm that Maria had given her on the beach. Although she'd heard of its various effects from Maria, Jessica's mind had gone blank, and she was just barely able to say even that much. Jessica, thinking that her mother probably wouldn't accept it anyway, immediately drew back the hand she had stuck out, grasping the charm. So when Natsuhi came back to take it, she was extremely shocked. What is this? Some kind of prize toy? Well, I think it's something like that. I guess you wouldn't really expect a charm that looks like a toy to do anything. But her mother took the charm from where she grasped it in her hand. Thank you. I'll take good care of it. Sometime soon, in exchange, why don't I give you a charm that was important to me when I was a child? It's not like that's why I gave it to you. But, well, if you really say so. Oh, look at them. TBH, I think I'm gonna move Nazi up on my tier list. Then I will rest for now. My headache is off. Try not to stay up too late. Sure. Nazi put the charm in her pocket and turned away. She then disappeared into the dark hall. You know, this ended out on such a better note than, any other thing, so honestly, I think this is where I'm gonna leave it off for today. Uh, I think this was a productive episode. I didn't mean to guess about that big gold bar, but, it exists. You know what? Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed episode 10 of Umineko When They Cry, and I hope I'll see you next time. Bye!